You have been taught to listen to what he says. That is the first mistake that keeps you confused over and over with the same kind of man. Because words are the newest, most trainable part of a human being. His body is not, and I am going to prove that to you right now in the next 30 seconds with one secret you can use tonight. Here it is, no build-up. Stop watching his face. Watch his feet. Out of every part of the human body, the feet are the last place conscious performance ever reaches, because we were never taught to control them the way we control our expressions. A man can smile at you, say the right thing, even lean in with his shoulders, and still have his feet quietly pointed toward the door, toward his phone, toward the exit. That single detail, feet over face, will change how you read every man from this point forward. That is the surface. Today, we're going 3 layers deeper into the exact biological wiring producing that signal, so you never have to guess what his body is telling you again. Before I show you exactly how this played out for one woman, I want to read you something. A viewer named Renata H. left this comment on our last video. I don't understand it. He tells me everything is fine. He says he's happy. He says he's not going anywhere. But something in my gut keeps telling me he's already checked out. Am I crazy? Renata, you are not crazy. Your gut was reading exactly what I just described. By the end of this video, you will understand precisely why. Let me introduce you to someone I will call Naomi. Naomi is 31, a physical therapist, sharp enough to read a room instantly, but she had always struggled to trust what she read when it came to the man across from her. She had been seeing Julian for 4 months. On paper, it looked beautiful. He introduced her to his brother. He remembered the name of her childhood dog. He told her, more than once, that he could see this going somewhere real. But Naomi kept noticing something small. At dinner, Julian's chair was always angled a few degrees away from the table toward the door. When she reached for his hand met hers, but his shoulders rose almost imperceptibly, the way shoulders rise right before a flinch. When she talked about the future, his mouth smiled, but his blinking sped up, rapid, almost mechanical. She told herself she was imagining it. 6 weeks later, Julian ended things and said he just wasn't ready. Naomi was not surprised. Some part of her had already known. His mouth had said one thing. His body had been rehearsing the exit the entire time. Before we move into the biological layer 1 of this mystery, take a moment to join our community. If you're serious about mastering these dynamics, hit the subscribe button. We don't just give tips here. We provide the architectural blueprints of the human heart. Now let's decode exactly what happened to Naomi, layer by layer, starting with the words themselves. Because even words, listened to closely enough, contain more truth than we give them credit for. Layer 1 is the words. This is the layer everyone gets stuck on. Because words are what we were trained our entire lives to analyze. But notice the specific language Julian used. He said he could see this going somewhere real. Not, I want this to be real. Not, this is real to me. That is conditional, hypothetical language, the language of a man narrating a possibility instead of committing to an experience. He said he just wasn't ready, a phrase that sounds like an apology, but functions as an escape hatch, because not ready implies no fault and requires no examination from either side. Listen for tense and ownership. Men who are genuinely locking in speak in first person, present tense, direct ownership. I want, I'm doing, we are. Men who are quietly exiting speak in passive, hypothetical, distancing language. It could, this might, things happen. The words were never an outright lie. They simply revealed the level of ownership he was actually willing to take, hidden in plain grammatical sight. Layer 2 is body language. And this is where Naomi's nervous system was already ahead of her conscious mind, and where our opening secret about feet fits into a much bigger picture. The angled chair, oriented toward the exit rather than fully toward her, is what behavioral scientists call a flight-ready posture. Human bodies orient toward what they value and away from what feels like an obligation they intend to leave. A man fully in will square his body toward you, feet pointed at you, chest open, because his nervous system is not preparing an exit route. The rising shoulders when she reached for his hand is a micro-tension response, a subtle bracing reflex that occurs when touch registers as slightly effortful rather than reflexively comforting. And the accelerated blinking when she spoke about the future is one of the most reliable stress markers we have, because blink rate increases under cognitive load and emotional discomfort as the eyes try to interrupt information that feels threatening. He was not lying to her face. His face was, quite literally, trying to look away from a future he already knew he was not going to choose. Layer 3 is the subconscious driver, and this is where we go underneath the behavior into the actual biological architecture producing it. Humans evolved in small social groups where deception carried enormous cost, and honest signals, posture, microexpression, autonomic nervous system responses could not be easily faked because they were never run by the conscious language-producing brain. They were run by the limbic system, the older survival brain shared across mammals, responsible for threat detection and approach avoidance behavior long before humans developed spoken language. When a man is forming genuine attachment, his parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and connect system, dominates around you. He relaxes, his body opens, his breathing slows. But when a man is ambivalent, when part of him is drawn to you while another part senses incompatibility or fear of commitment, his sympathetic nervous system stays partially activated even in your presence, the same system responsible for fight or flight. This is why he can say warm words while his body still hums with low-grade avoidance. It is not hypocrisy. It is a nervous system holding two contradictory truths at once. And the body, being older and more honest than language, keeps leaking the second truth. This connects directly to attachment theory. Men with an avoidant attachment style, often shaped by early experiences where closeness felt engulfing or unsafe, will frequently generate warm verbal content specifically to manage your emotions and avoid conflict. While their body continues to execute a self-protective distancing pattern they are not even consciously aware of. Julian likely was not lying to Naomi on purpose. He was watching his own mouth make promises his nervous system had already voted against. If you're starting to see how these hidden dynamics have been playing out in your own life and you want to master the science of human connection, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Here at the Core Dynamics, we don't just give dating tips. We decode the biological truth so you never have to guess again. Join the community now so you don't miss our next deep dive. If this is starting to click for you, if you are already thinking of a moment where his words and his body told two different stories, like and comment the word decode below, so I know to keep making these deep dives for you. Here's your roadmap for applying this the next time you are sitting across from him. Step 1. Start with the secret from the top of this video. Feet before face every time. Step 2. Stop grading the sentence and start grading the tense. Listen for first-person, present-tense ownership language versus hypothetical, conditional distancing language, and treat the second as a real data point, not paranoia. Step 3. Watch his full orientation before you watch his expression, chest and knees included, because where his body points tells you more than his smile does. Step 4. Notice touch response, not just touch presence. A hand accepted is not the same as a hand welcomed. Look for whether his body softens toward contact or subtly braces against it. Step 5. When words and body disagree, believe the body, but do not weaponize this information in an accusation. Use it as permission to ask a direct, calm question and watch how his whole system responds to being asked plainly, because a securely attached man will meet directness with more openness, not more distancing. Naomi did not need Julian to stay. What she needed, and what you need, is to trust the signal that was there long before the ending arrived, so that the next time you are not surprised by an exit your own nervous system had already predicted weeks in advance. That is the real power here, not becoming suspicious of every man, but becoming fluent in the oldest language humans ever spoke, the one we used for 100,000 years before we ever had words at all. When you know how to read that language, you stop asking why you did not see it coming, because you will already know. Subscribe to the Core Dynamics so you never have to decode alone. And I will see you in the next deep dive, where we go into why the men who leave the most quietly are so often the ones who come back the loudest months later, wanting exactly what they once walked away from. That pull you feel when an ex resurfaces out of nowhere, it is not random and it is not really about you the way you think it is. In our next deep dive, I am decoding the biological reason he keeps returning and what his return actually reveals about his subconscious drivers. Subscribe now so it lands directly in your feed. I will see you there.